Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you drive a 200 series Land Cruiser in combination with a caravan, then I'd encourage you to join in. I'm on my way to a local park and I've organised to meet Ben from Mobile Weigh Check to weigh the car and the van. I suspect that the Land Cruiser is going to fail badly. Hopefully not too bad. I've done some quick stats, and when I get to the park I will jump out. I'll show the car and the van. I'll run through some quick stats with you, have the car weighed in the van, and then come back to the end to fill you in on where I sit. So here we are at the park. This is a 2019 VX Land Cruiser. For those of you watching from overseas, this has a V8 diesel under the bonnet. Now, out of the factory, these have a GVM of 3,350 kilos, a payload of just over 600 kilos, which I have discovered is probably not enough. I suspect that my car is going to fail the weight check today. Now, just so you can compare it to yours at home, I've got some accessories on my car. Obviously a bull bar at the front, that weighs 83 kilos. I've got some recovery hooks under the car there. They're a bit over 7 kilos each. I've got some all-terrain rubber. They're heavier than the factory OEM tyres. I've got a Rhino roof rack. I've got some Max Tracks, an awning. Under the bonnet, I have got a secondary fuel filter. I have a catch can, a DC to DC charger. I don't have a second battery under the bonnet. That's a long story. And I have a hitch on the back. That's about 7.5 kilos. Now, those accessories, I've added them up, weigh in at 200 kilos. So there's 200 kilos that come straight off the top of my payload. I've also recently discovered that the weight that my van puts on top of the tow bar there also comes off my payload. My van probably takes about 200 kilos of my payload. So just those two, I guess, two major items come in at about 400 kilos. That leaves 200 kilos before I fuel up, before I jump in and take off. Now, I've got a bit of gear in the back of the car today. I'm also fully fueled up to mimic going away. Okay, now some quick stats on this caravan. This is a 20-foot Urban Tungsten Tough. The compliance plate says it weighs 2,751 kilos. There are 3 water tanks which I have filled up with water for today's exercise. We've got all of our gear inside except for food, and there are some extras fitted to this van that you may not have on yours. Extra large toolbox in the front. I've got a slide out kitchen, airbag, suspension, and a bike rack on the back. So yeah, that should just about cover it. We'll get the 2 weighed and I'll come back to you straight after with the results.
Two hours later.
Okay, I'm back. Now, Ben's given me a it's about a 5 or 6 page report. It's quite comprehensive actually, and it's not all good news all around. I'll start with the caravan because that's probably the best news. My van weighs in at just under 3 tonne, all loaded up. So just as a reminder, the van and the car is all loaded up like I would be if I was going away. So yeah, just under 3 tonne, about a spare 500 kilos in the van. So that's great news. The GCM is also okay. The Land Cruisers come with a gross combined mass of weight that you're allowed to tow. So that's the car fully loaded up and the van, of 6,850 kilos. And that has come in at just over 6,300. So I've got a spare 500 kilos in GCM. So that's good news. That's okay. I'm all good there. I was really interested to know how much weight my van was putting on the tow bar, which they call the TBM, tow ball mass, and that came in at 301 kilos, which Ben said was ideal for the size and weight of my van. Bear in mind that that 300 kilos comes off my payload, and that's where I quickly run into trouble. So let's get to the most important number, which is the GVM of my car. So that has definitely failed, and I suspected it would, but probably not as badly as it has come back. So with myself and my wife in the car, I've got 50 kilos worth of gear in the back of the car. I've got a crate of firewood, an anti-flap kit, a barbecue porch extender for our awning for our barbecue or our slide out kitchen, and just some other bits and pieces. Not a lot of gear, but that comes in about 50 kilos. And of course I'm fueled up, like we're ready to go. And with us in the car, we're 250 kilos over our GVM. That's really disappointing, and really not sure what to do. I don't really have all that many options. It's not like if I was to take all my accessories off the car, I would obviously save 200 kilos, but then I'm still 50 kilos over with absolutely no accessories. That doesn't make any sense. Getting a smaller van doesn't help. Okay, sure, the van takes 300 kilos off my payload. If I was to get a much smaller van, that might be just 200 kilos. I've had Land Cruisers most of my married life, and have always felt that they were up to the task of towing a caravan. As it turns out, no can do. Not sure what to do next. Oh, there goes a ram. Maybe that's a sign. Larger tow vehicle is one of the options. The Ram out of the factory doesn't have a 1-ton payload, but you can get them upgraded out of the factory. The other option, of course, is a GVM upgrade, which I've got to say I'm not super keen to do that. Car has done just under 100,000 Ks. I change my cars every few years, so probably my only option at this point in time is a new car. I can understand why you might be reluctant to go and get your van and your car weighed, because it forces you to deal with it. So yeah, I hope that helps you assess your scenario. We were planning to go to Fraser Island for a week in this car with this van, so stay tuned. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love your support. And look, if you have any comments or suggestions to find a solution for me, then I'd love to hear from you. And thanks for watching. See you soon.